Was I wrong about Netflix? The US business is very challenged. Here's the problem with international growth. They don't pay you any money. Netflix is way up. Was I wrong about Netflix? Oh, hey, Alex, Netflix is up. They beat on earnings. Netflix is still screwed long term. Absolutely. Not screwed, but they're just not going to be what they were. As we've said, the only chance that Netflix has to continue to sustain itself or justify its valuation is on the heels of international growth. Absolutely. We've made that point very clear. And that's actually exactly what you see here happening. So their domestic paid subscriber additions, they missed. They got 500,000. They were supposed to get 800,000. It's a decent sized miss. Their business in the United States is fundamentally challenged. The growth that they're going to see in the US will never be what it used to be. And it's going to be very expensive to hold on to these customers as more, pure play digital content players get into the game. Disney Plus is about to come out. And it's going to get very expensive. So the US business is very challenged. And by the way, that's the core of their business. Don't be fooled by the pure volume of the international paid subscriptions, right? So they beat by 200,000 from the international subscriptions, 6.25, 6.26 versus 6.05 million. So they beat by 200,000, but they missed in the US by 300,000. Net, they still missed on subscriber additions. But the market, the street's happy because they beat on earnings and there's strong international growth. Here's the problem with international growth. They don't pay you any money. The amount of money that US consumers will spend on media versus the amount of money that consumers in India will spend on media, it's like 10 to 1. There's literally no comparison. Nowhere else in the world do people pay as much for consuming content as we do in the United States. So Netflix has to expand internationally, but the income coming from that is much lower. The revenue coming from that is much lower. And you have to create a lot of custom content abroad internationally to cater to these different countries and cultures and regions that are out there. So it's also not cheap. You can't just use the same content and scale it internationally and voila, you get 6 million new users. No, it doesn't work like that. Again, I'm not predicting when is Netflix going to crash, which quarter is it here or there, but I'm saying over the long term, Netflix is still in trouble, folks. Nothing materially has changed. If anything, these numbers actually support exactly the future outlook as we see it, because they don't have any supply side network effects. All of their content is created or licensed by Netflix. It's on their balance sheet. They are not a platform business. They have a lot of demand and they can use that demand strategically, but there's no supply side moat. There's nothing to prevent other international players to go after their international markets with a similar Netflix model, but internationally. Nothing to prevent that from happening. It just hasn't been, I think, in US, we're a little bit farther along there, but Amazon's also in India. So, I wouldn't say there's really anything too material here that really strikes me any differently with this. And they talk about Stranger Things, and it's a very hit-driven business. So they say, yeah, look, third quarter, we launched Stranger Things, and guess what? That coincides with us adding more subscribers. It's a hit-driven business. That's a big problem for them. Hi, this is Alex Mozed. Thanks for joining us on Winner Take All. If you enjoyed the content today, which I bet you did, please comment, subscribe, and definitely message me on Twitter when we're doing live streams. Also, please note, all opinions expressed about stocks or public companies on the show are exactly that, opinions. This is not investment advice. Don't act on it. WisdomTree licensed Applico's Platform Insights data product to aid in the creation of the PLAT ETF. Thanks for joining us.